I love the Final Fantasy series. So many of these games are timeless classics, filled with emotion, memories, and sentimental value. So then why do they keep f***ing it up? It'd be simple to just talk about the worst Final Fantasy games, but that's too easy, and frankly everyone has done that. Let's talk about all the other stupid things Final Fantasy has done. Don't worry, I won't leave out their worst games. Not this one. This game is rad. With that said, these are the top 10 worst things Final Fantasy has ever done. I've already talked at length about Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, and how it's certainly not my favorite game at all. It's not a super awful game, just a very simplistic one, but the game itself isn't why this is here. Did you know that the very first Final Fantasy game to ever be released in Europe is this one? Yup! This is how everyone in the PAL region got introduced to Final Fantasy, with an RPG made for babies. Released as Mystic Quest Legend, this watered-down, simplistic, and boring RPG is all Europe had in terms of Final Fantasy for years to come. For extra confusion, Europe already had a Mystic Quest game, which was known as Final Fantasy Adventure in America, which is actually part of the Secret of Mana series. And my brain already hurts. This is all they had for several more years, as they wouldn't get another Final Fantasy game until VII about 4 years later. So this one goes out to my friends in Europe, as you had to deal with this disappointment for way too long and missed out on way too many great games. I've gone on record and said that Final Fantasy VI is my favorite game of all time. Square released a remake of Final Fantasy III, and it was good. And then they released a remake of Final Fantasy IV, and it was amazing! It left me hoping that they could give 6 the same treatment and love that 4 got with its remake. Instead we got this! I know some of you are thinking, it's not that bad, but it really is. This is just a lazy port. I tried to be reasonable with the new sprites and the artwork, but no, I hate it. It's ugly. Everyone's chest sticks out more than a Wii U game on a release calendar. It's like someone turned on the filter on their SNES emulator and drew sprites on top of it and then exclaimed in the office, "I did it!" Originally, this game was a port for tablets and mobile devices, which explains why so little effort went into it, charging over $15 for this. It wasn't just 6 that it happened to. Final Fantasy V got the exact same treatment with the same issues. All I wanted was Square Enix to give them the same treatment as they did with 4. Oh my god, please be good. Starting with the PlayStation era, Final Fantasy became known for its cutscenes. They were incredible! At the time, they were so good that everyone was like, man, they should just make a Final Fantasy movie already. So they did, and it sucked. Yet another Final Fantasy thing I've already spoken about at length, Final Fantasy The Spirits Within doesn't deserve the Final Fantasy in its name. Nothing about this movie reflects the series that we cherish. And even if you make the argument of, well, just ignore the Final Fantasy part and appreciate the movie as it is, fine, the movie still sucks. It's boring, and it's dumb. I don't care about anything that's happening. And this isn't the last time that they tried to do a movie, as they just had to make another one and... Okay, I get it. Everyone goddamn loves Final Fantasy VII. This isn't a complaint about that, nor is it hating on the game. 7 is still pretty good. And for a lot of people, this was their first real Final Fantasy game, and because of that, it's their favorite, and they hold it very close to their hearts. And I hate that Square knows that. Because of this, they've exploited the shit out of Final Fantasy VII and everyone's nostalgia for it. The one game just wasn't enough, was it? They had to expand the universe so much that they've practically destroyed the whole thing. Final Fantasy VII Snowboarding, Before Crisis, Final Fantasy VII, Dirge of Cerberus, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII G-By, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII. All of these are stupid! Actually, Crisis Core is pretty good. Final Fantasy VII Advent Children is not a good movie. Yes, it has all of these characters that we recognize, and some of the fights are neat, but good lord is it a nonsensical mess. Want some more? How about Last Order, Final Fantasy VII? Or how about shoving Final Fantasy VII stuff in a bunch of other Final Fantasy games just to use your love of Final Fantasy VII against you? Worst of all of these expanded universe things has ruined Cloud. It's this exploitation of Final Fantasy VII that sucks, since nothing truly great has come from it. Please be good. Final Fantasy XIV is the most fun I've had with an MMO in years. I really enjoy this game. Shout out to my guild, the Hokoten, on the Siren server. Of course, I'm talking about Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn, as the original 14 sucked so bad. It was supposed to be a modern MMO that immediately felt archaic the moment it launched compared to other games on the market. It was difficult to control, with its interface trying to copy Final Fantasy XI way too much. Look at it this way. 14 sucked so bad and nobody liked it that they literally killed the whole thing off and rebuilt it from scratch. I'll give them this though. The new 14 is great, and I'm glad that they managed to fix it up to something super fun. They even worked the destruction of the original 14 into the lore and storyline. But never forget, never forget. Final Fantasy IV is a highly rated fan favorite of the series. I didn't personally love the SNES original, but I do love the DS remake. And then Square Enix said, "Oh man, you like Final Fantasy IV? Then why don't you play the whole damn thing again?" Final Fantasy IV: The After Years is a direct sequel to 4, only it does nothing new or different and literally has you going through the same shit again. They reuse exact maps, areas, monsters, battles, bosses, etc. under the guise of a new game. And while you're playing it, all the characters even say, "This all seems so familiar." No shit, we've already done this. It doesn't really add anything to the story of 4, except for maybe Kain. Getting to the end is hardly worthwhile, and you'll feel just as empty as the heart of this game. This was originally released episodically on phones in Japan too, so those poor guys had to wait in between episodes for more disappointment. Direct sequels can be good, Square, and I have yet to see you do it right. And on that note, let me be reasonable and objective for a moment here. I hate Final Fantasy XIII and everything it has done. I know, it's a cool thing to hate on 13 these days, but I've always hated this game. I hate the gameplay, I hate the story, I hate the characters. The graphics are nice, I hate the design, I hate the hallways, I hate the battle system. It bores the crap out of me, and I can't bring myself to care about any of it. And they have the gall to do it again! 13.2 is not much better. Yes, they addressed a few things like the hallways and faster paradigm shifts, but it's still the exact same game at its core, and it still bores the crap out of me. The story sucks, this idiot sucks, and the ending sucks. Why would I care about all of these different timelines if it's not even the original one that I came from? And as for Final Fantasy XIII 3, I don't know. I haven't even bothered playing it. Why? 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 If you ask me what my favorite Final Fantasy game of all time is, it's 6. But if you ask, okay, other than 6, that's easy. Tactics. These games are so incredible. I adore the original PS1 game, and Advance and Advance 2 are both good sequels. And everyone I've talked to loves these games. So why hasn't there been another one? This is another place that Final Fantasy has f***ed up. They haven't made another tactics game in 8 years. It's one of the best side franchises the series has, and they've all but ignored it. The job system from Final Fantasy 3 and 5 works so well in a tactical setting, and the Evil East world is so fleshed out at this point, there is so much they could do with it. I realize strategy games aren't as prevalent these days as they once were, but with so many tablet devices, touchscreen gaming, and people loving strategy games more and more these days, it's the perfect time to bring back one of their best franchises. Hell, you even put ROMs on the new Dissidia game. If you could fix just one thing, Square, please, 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 let it be creating more Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm not surprised Final Fantasy games made their way to mobiles, and some of them are pretty cool. Final Fantasy Record Keeper is alright, and Final Fantasy Brave Exvius is even better. But we'll never forget the absolute atrocity that was Final Fantasy All the Bravest. This is a textbook manipulation game designed to trick you into spending money. The gameplay is simply mindless as you slam your finger all over the screen to attack with your few dozen characters. A single hit kills any one of your party members, and you need to wait 3 minutes for them to revive. 3 minutes per character. The only reason people play this was because there's a slight chance that you could recruit your favorite Final Fantasy character into your party, but you have a much larger chance at recruiting some generic idiot or a pig or some shit. Each one costs $1, and you have no idea what you'll end up with. It's not even a free-to-play game. It costs money just to buy the damn thing in the first place. You even f***ed that up. If it was free, the very least we could say is, glad I didn't spend money on this piece of shit. We could argue which Final Fantasy game is the absolute worst. 13, 8, 2, but we can all collectively agree that Final Fantasy All the Bravest is an outright embarrassment. I only give Final Fantasy so much crap because I love it. I care so much. And even though it's caused me a lot of pain over the years, I will continue to stick through it because I know there's something special there. And I will continue to buy all of the re-releases and the ports and the HD version remakes, whatever, because I adore Final Fantasy. And Square, even though I give you a lot of crap, I know deep down you want to make good games. But please give us more tactics. If you take away anything from this video, just make it more tactics, please. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more. Now, I've talked about Final Fantasy a lot in the past, so be sure to check out those videos too.